Friday Akanum had always believed that the world was larger than the narrow streets of Uyo where he grew up. In the humid evenings of Akwa Ibom, when generators hummed and the smell of roasted corn drifted through the air, he would sit outside his family's small compound and imagine airplanes crossing oceans. His mother used to laugh at him. "Friday, the way you stare at the sky, someone will think you're waiting for angels." "Not angels, Mama," he would say quietly. "My future." He was brilliant, disciplined, and patient. The white streak in his hair, something he had since childhood, made him unforgettable. In school people called him Friday Whitehair. At first it embarrassed him, but later it became a signature. By the time he finished at the University of Uyo, he had earned a scholarship to study data science in the United States. The acceptance letter came during the rainy season. When he opened the email in a crowded cybercafe, his hands trembled so badly he had to read it 3 times. He was going to America. 2 months later he stood at Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos with 1 suitcase and a backpack. His mother cried quietly. His father placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Remember who you are, Friday. The world will test you." Friday nodded. "I won't forget." The flight landed in Boston on a freezing evening in September. Friday stepped outside Logan International Airport and felt cold slice through his jacket like a blade. He laughed out loud despite himself. So this is America. Everything was new. The quiet trains. The tall glass buildings. The way strangers smiled politely but kept distance. At Northeastern University, he spent his first weeks adjusting to classes and time zones. His Nigerian accent drew curiosity but never hostility. He studied late, often alone in the library. That was where he first met Kemi. Her full name was Kemi Adimi. She was Yoruba, born in Ibadan but raised partly in Atlanta before moving back to Nigeria during her teenage years. She had returned to the United States for graduate school in sociology. The night they met, Friday was struggling with a statistics problem when someone leaned over his table. "You're Nigerian, right?" He looked up. She was dark-skinned, confident, wearing a thick winter coat and gold earrings that caught the fluorescent lights. "Yes," he said cautiously. "Thought so. The accent gave you away." She smiled. "I'm Kemi. Friday." She blinked once. "Friday. Yes. That's the coolest name I've heard today." They laughed, and within minutes they were talking about Nigeria, jollof rice debates, and how impossible Boston winters felt. Kemi quickly became Friday's closest friend on campus. She helped him navigate American life, bank accounts, student IDs, even which grocery stores sold African ingredients. But the moment everything changed came weeks later. It was late October. Friday and Kemi were leaving a cafe near campus when Kemi spotted someone across the street. "Oh, there she is." Friday turned. A tall white woman with auburn hair was walking toward them, balancing a stack of books. Her eyes were bright blue and curious. "Kemi," she called. "This is my friend," Kemi said. "Her name is Emily Carter." Emily smiled warmly. "Hi, nice to meet you." Friday shook her hand. "Friday." Her eyebrows rose slightly. "That's an amazing name." Something passed between them in that moment. A quiet spark. Kemi noticed it instantly. Over the next months the three spent time together frequently, studying, exploring Boston, visiting cafes, watching movies. Emily studied journalism and possessed an insatiable curiosity about people and stories. She loved asking Friday questions about Nigeria. "What was your childhood like? What food do you miss the most? Do you think you'll go back someday?" Friday answered patiently, often amused by her fascination. Meanwhile, Kemi watched. At first it was subtle. The way Emily's eyes lingered on Friday when he spoke, the way Friday laughed differently around her. Then one evening everything became undeniable. It was snowing lightly. They were walking along the Charles River after dinner. The wind was cold, and Emily shivered. Without thinking, Friday removed his scarf and wrapped it around her neck. "You'll freeze." Emily looked at him, surprised by the gesture. "Thank you." Their fingers brushed. Neither moved away. Kemi walked slightly ahead and felt something twist painfully in her chest. She had met Friday first. She had helped him. She had been there from the beginning. Yet somehow Emily had become the center of his attention. That night Kemi sat alone in her apartment staring at her phone. She told herself she was overreacting. But jealousy is a slow poison. Weeks passed, and Friday and Emily grew closer. They started studying together without Kemi. They shared coffee in quiet cafes. Their conversations deepened. One night after a journalism event, Emily and Friday walked through Beacon Hill under yellow streetlights. "I like being with you," she said suddenly. Friday stopped. "I like being with you too." Their breath formed white clouds in the cold air. Emily leaned forward first. The kiss was gentle and uncertain, but it changed everything. From that night on, they were together. When Kemi discovered this, she smiled outwardly. Inside she burned. She told herself it was unfair. She had introduced them. She had trusted Emily. And now Emily had taken the one man she believed truly understood her. One evening she vented to someone else. His name was Jason Whitmore. Jason was a finance student from Connecticut. Tall, handsome, confident, and deeply frustrated. Because he was in love with Emily Carter. He had known her since freshman year. And she had never loved him back. They met at a small bar near Fenway Park. The television above the counter played a baseball game while snow fell outside. Kemi spoke bitterly. "Do you know what it feels like to introduce someone to the person you like, and then watch them fall in love?" Jason stared at his drink. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I do." That conversation would change 4 lives. Neither of them knew yet how far jealousy could go. Weeks later, Friday disappeared. The last person to see him alive was Emily. They had dinner at a restaurant in Cambridge. According to her, Friday left around 9:30 p.m. saying he needed to finish an assignment at the university lab. He never arrived. At first nobody panicked. Students occasionally disappeared for a day or two during exam season. But by the 3rd day, Emily filed a missing person report. Police searched his apartment. His phone was off. His laptop remained on his desk. His backpack was gone. Campus security footage showed him leaving the restaurant. Then, nothing. The investigation stalled quickly. No witnesses. No body. No crime scene. Just silence. Emily cried for weeks. Kemi pretended to comfort her. Jason said very little. And eventually, as months turned into years, the world moved on. But the truth had only begun to hide itself. 7 years later, someone would finally start asking the right questions. 7 years later, Boston had changed in small but undeniable ways. New glass towers had risen along the skyline. Restaurants had opened and closed. Students had graduated and scattered across the country. But some stories refused to disappear. Detective Marcus Doyle had recently joined the Massachusetts Cold Case Unit. He was known for patience. The kind of investigator who could sit with unanswered questions longer than most. Friday Akanam's file landed on his desk on a quiet Monday morning. Missing international student. No body. Last seen 2019. Doyle read every page. The story disturbed him. Young Nigerian student. Brilliant. No known enemies. Vanished after dinner with girlfriend. He studied the photos. One detail caught his attention immediately. The white streak in Friday's hair. Unforgettable. Someone remembers something, Doyle murmured. He began contacting people connected to the case. Emily Carter was now a journalist working in New York. Kemi Adeyemi had become a sociology lecturer in Chicago. Jason Whitmore worked in investment banking in Boston. Doyle started with Emily. She met him in a quiet Manhattan cafe. Time had softened her appearance but not the sadness in her eyes. "I never stopped thinking about him," she said. "Tell me about that night again." She repeated the same story she had told police 7 years earlier. Dinner. Laughter. A kiss goodbye outside the restaurant. Did anyone know where he was going? Doyle asked. Just the university lab. Did he seem worried? No. He was excited actually. He had just received news about a research internship. Doyle nodded slowly. What about your friends? Emily hesitated slightly. You mean Kemi? Yes. We were close then. Emily looked away. We drifted apart after Friday disappeared. Why? Emily sighed. I think she blamed me. Did she ever like him? Emily gave a small, sad smile. Yes. That confirmed Doyle's instinct. Jealousy. The oldest motive. Next he contacted Kemi. Chicago in winter looked gray and unforgiving. Kemi met him in her university office. She appeared composed, professional, confident. Detective, I already told the police everything years ago. I know, Doyle replied calmly. But sometimes memories change. She crossed her arms. What do you want to know? Did you love Friday? The question landed heavily. Kemi stared at him. That's irrelevant. Is it? Her voice hardened. I cared about him. Enough to resent Emily. Silence stretched. Everyone resented Emily, she finally said. She had everything. Doyle studied her face carefully. But she gave nothing away. The last interview was Jason Whitmore. He lived in a luxury apartment overlooking Boston Harbor. Jason appeared relaxed, confident, successful. 7 years is a long time, he said casually. Still worth asking questions, Doyle replied. Jason shrugged. I barely knew the guy. Yet you knew Emily well. Jason smirked faintly. Everyone knew Emily. Did you love her? Jason laughed softly. You detectives really go straight for the drama. Answer the question. Jason leaned back. Yeah, I did. Did that bother you when she dated Friday? Jason's eyes flickered for a fraction of a second. People date who they want. Doyle left the apartment with a growing feeling. Someone in this story was lying. Weeks passed as he dug deeper. Old phone records, campus security footage, archived emails. Then he found something strange. Jason Whitmore's phone had connected to a cell tower near the university research lab the night Friday disappeared. But Jason had told police he was home. Doyle requested additional records. Another detail emerged. Jason's car GPS had briefly stopped near a wooded area outside Boston that same night. The woods near Middlesex Fells Reservation. Police searched the area again. 7 years earlier they had only done a shallow sweep. This time they dug. 3 days into the search, a worker's shovel struck something hard. Bones. Human remains. The forensic team worked carefully for hours. Then they found a small fragment of hair still trapped in the skull. A white streak. The room went silent when the report came back. The remains were Friday Akwa. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma. Someone had beaten him. Detective Doyle returned to Jason Whitmore's apartment with a warrant. Jason opened the door calmly. What's this about? Doyle stepped inside. We found Friday. Jason's face went pale. In the woods. Where your car stopped. Jason tried to laugh. That proves nothing. Doyle placed photographs on the table. Phone tower logs. GPS data. Forensic results. Jason's hands trembled. You were there that night, Doyle said quietly. Jason's voice cracked. He ruined everything. Doyle said nothing. Jason finally broke. I just wanted to talk to him, he whispered. Flashback memories poured out between gasps. Jason had followed Friday after dinner. He confronted him near the university lab parking lot. Told him to stay away from Emily. Friday refused. They argued. Voices rose. Jason grabbed a metal tire iron from his trunk. I didn't mean to kill him, Jason cried. I just lost control. One swing. Then another. Friday collapsed. Panic took over. Jason drove the body to the woods and buried him. For 7 years he told no one. Not even Kemi. When detectives later informed Emily Carter, she collapsed into tears. The man she loved had died because someone else could not accept rejection. Kemi watched the news from Chicago in stunned silence. The jealousy she once felt suddenly seemed meaningless. A young man from Akwa Ibom had crossed an ocean chasing his future. Instead he found tragedy. But his story refused to stay buried forever. 7 years later the truth rose from the earth. And somewhere in Uyo, under the same warm Nigerian sky he once watched as a boy, Friday Akanam's parents finally received the answer they had waited years to hear. Justice had arrived late. But it had arrived. If this story kept you watching until the end, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more real-life mysteries. cold cases, and shocking true crime stories that reveal the truth behind the silence. New stories are uploaded regularly, and you won't want to miss the next one. Also, leave a comment below. Do you think justice after 7 years is enough? And which moment in this story shocked you the most? Your comments help others discover these stories and help this channel grow.